back to another week. It is the last week of April. Hopefully by the end of the week, April showers will indeed shift to May flowers and the sun will start shining. Again, it's going to be wet though for the first half of the week. What's going on this week at the middle school? This week I'm meeting with reading, language arts, and science departments to take a look at SLO planning. Looking forward to educator effectiveness coming into play for those departments next year. Music is also on the docket. We'll be setting up a time here in the next couple of weeks to go through the same process with them. Tuesday morning, Bill Kim and I have our administration or our admin meeting at the district office. And on Thursday, we will have the Thai teacher that is spending most of his time over at the high school, but he will be with us in the middle school on Thursday. And that's about the extent of things, big things going on this week. Last week we had a listening session for educator effectiveness. We had a handful of people come in and out. What was really cool were the questions weren't about, oh geez, I've never heard of this thing before. The questions were really thoughtful. Hey, here's what I'm thinking about. You got any suggestions? Or I have a question about this part of it. So it was really good to have those questions. Just a couple quick reminders. Remember that the EE process really does have three parts. We're used to having kind of one part, and that's just the classroom practice, the evaluation process. So part one for EE is that Danielson model and the evaluation in the classroom. The second part of it is the student learning objectives or outcomes, the SLOs. We all have to have 2 of those for next year. And then the third part is the professional practice goal. And there's one of those. Again, those are the PPGs. And one way to think about that when writing a PPG, I believe this came from Sue Wilson in a different meeting. I want to learn more about blank so that I can help students blank. And if that's kind of the way you frame up a professional practice goal, that's a really good start. And just a reminder that we will not be perfect going into next year with the EE process. We'll be learning all of this together. It's for real next year, so we all have to figure it out at the same time. And then May 20th of this spring here, later on in May, we've got another EE listening session planned. I've scheduled that in the computer lab. I believe I got room 10. And that'll be open for us to just kind of get logged in and see what Teachscape has to offer. So we'll get that under your belts here before the end of the year as well. So that is the EE update. Okay, MSLT met last week. I'll send some of this out in writing as well. We will have 2 goals next year. We took a look at the goals from this year. We've done pretty well with them. We're not done with them yet because we're dependent on the STAR data here coming up later in the month or in the beginning of May. But we are going to shift our goals a little bit. One goal will be focused on student growth, specifically with reading. And so that is something that can give us actually a little bit more information and a better pulse than the goal, more of an attainment goal that we had for this year. So more information will come about that. The second goal, we're going to shift to a closing the gaps goal. And that's a really broad statement. So we're still going to try to figure out how to narrow that down. But the goals that we have for next year, one will be student growth in reading across the board, all students. And the second goal will be focused on closing the gaps, most likely with a subpopulation. It might be a certain percentage of achievement. It might be special education population, whatever it is that we'll take a look at the data here in May and try to narrow it down. And again, I'll get more information kind of in writing out to you so you can kind of see what we talked about at MSLT. All right, that's it for that one. Last but not least, in this week's update, we have STAR testing coming up real soon. We will be using the new Chrome carts that we've got on the 5-6 side. It'll be kind of a test run here. On the 6th and 7th of May, we'll be doing 5th and 6th grade testing, both reading and math. The 8th is scheduled as a makeup day. Currently, we've got the 13th and 14th scheduled for 7th and 8th grade STAR testing. Apollo on the 14th is currently still planning on doing the Amazing Race as a team. So if that's the case, then Apollo will do their math testing on May 15th. And so I'll communicate that directly with that team. But school-wide, we should be able to get done with STAR testing pretty quickly and painlessly and get some good data for us to take a look and see how we did for the year. So that's it for the news this week. The May rush is on. Enjoy every last minute of it. It's hard to believe that May is coming this week. So enjoy the time. I'll see you in the hallways.